What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, and what up some more? What's going on, America? It's your boy Rod and Don. We are always in the building, ready to give y'all fire. Another ep is coming on the way right now. Listen, before we talk about the crazy women's Final Four championship game, we need you to do us a favor, all right? We need you to smash the like button. We need you to comment. We need you to share. Facebook, YouTube, y'all are out there. Keep commenting. Give us some love. Give us a smoke. Whatever you like, dislike. Listen, we all for it. That's what we here for. Big D, man. You can't see me, D. What's going on?
Oh man, it's all good, man. Listen, that has gotten so much attention.
Boy,
Trash talk is universally part of every game,
it is.
right?
It is.
And as long as you're winning, you can talk. But
Totally agree.
I don't know. That was kind of blown out of proportion. But
Yeah,
let's get into it, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man.
All right. So the big deal is that Angel Reese continued with her trash talk. And prior to the game, LSU was really clear that some of the disrespect and the end result would be different from Iowa and South Carolina, right? Because on the right, you see Caitlin Clark, who is Player of the Year, balling out. I've said in previous shows that I didn't care for her smugness. She's a smug player, but she's a trash talker. She talks trash, and she backs it up. So if you're able to back it up, you can continue to talk. She was doing the whole hand in front of the face. She once told a player, I forget who they were playing. She told him, "Hey, you're down by 15. Shut up."
Yep.
Okay. I listen. If you want her to shut up, you have to beat her. Now we fast forward to the championship game with LSU and Iowa. LSU had made it clear, we are coming to play. We're coming to ball. Angel Reese, if you follow her, she is very flamboyant. She's out there. She's, she speaks for herself. She's not one of those people that is going to, cow down to any type of competition, trash talk. Listen, if you beat her, then you shut her up. If you don't, then you got to take it. And so the problem that I have is with her actually pushing it to the point where she's following her around, she's continued to trash talk. There is no cutoff where you finish the trash talk. You trash talk, whether it's 10 seconds left in the game, 12 seconds, jump ball, you're there to play and win. The problem is that what we've grown accustomed to, we've heard a whole bunch of different people going at Angel Reese because of her celebration and not being fair when Caitlin Clark was doing the same type of celebration, the exact same celebration. But I'd like to take it a different angle. Why are we expecting, now we're in the society and the times that we live in, we want everything to be equal, right? So why do we then create some type of difference in the way men and women handle themselves in a competitive environment? And this game was competitive. They all wanted to win the game. Obviously, both teams can't win. There can only be one winner. But I think part of it, there are other reasons, obviously, reasons that one can do a celebration, the other one can't do it. And one is either, criticized or critiqued harshly. One is being passionate. We've seen that in all different sports. The difference between Tom Brady yelling and throwing tablets and Odell Beckham being passionate and yelling on the sideline. Both are viewed very differently. So, but beyond that, I also want to bring into the fact that men and women, if everything is equal, then you should expect in competition, in a competitive environment, the same potential reactions whether exuberant celebration, anger, all of these emotions that's involved in a competitive field should be accepted and understood and appreciated, whether it's male or female or whatever arena. I think that deep down, I think we don't expect women to act that way. And that's part of the chauvinistic type of mentality. But I also think then, of course, we have the very obvious, black and white issue of someone being able to celebrate what's deemed to be, negative by that celebration. And one is deemed to be just passionate. What do you say?
No, I agree with you. I think all of what you said is correct, and there's definitely a double standard when it comes to the way black people or black athletes, but I'll say black people in general too. I mean, we see it even in, it could be in the workplace, it could be in what would be just considered common environments where a black person can react to something a certain kind of way that's a little bit more animated, and then as opposed to a European person who will respond with animation, but their animation looks and feels a little different, right? And so it's oftentimes that African Americans, we are perceived, and this is something that has perpetuated for quite some time. You can go all the way back to whether it be Jim Crow, Reconstruction era. You can even go even before emancipation, and you can look at slavery, and you can go back into just the behavioral things that had to be somewhat marginalized or restricted or somehow conform to something that's less aggressive. And so and again, and I'm not I'm not a racist. I'm not somebody who is somebody that's anti-European or anything of that nature. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? But what I am saying is we do have to call out the facts, and that society again showed itself in this whole thing, right? We're not even talking about how LSU beat them down, right? We're not even talking about how good Morris was in the second half of that game and hitting, mid-range jumpers, really who I felt stayed off the Iowa. Yeah, she should have probably been MVP of the game, in my opinion, because she staved off their comeback, because Iowa was coming back. They cut it back into single digits. And so had she not, kind of created that distance, and not only that she had shot, she ran their offense at the same time. She did a tremendous job, right? But we're talking about the difference in the contrast between two people, two athletes, one white, one black, and basically they're competitors. They are trash talkers. Listen, none of this should negate anything that Caitlin Clark has done. I'll be quite honest with you. I think she's the best female basketball player that I've ever seen. She was the reason why the ratings have come out of the roof, unprecedented numbers for the entire tournament, for that matter, for the championship game, which I'm sure they'll reveal those numbers in another day or so. And you're going to see record-breaking, unprecedented numbers, all because of this girl. She brought it, and she is to be commended for her play. She still played a great game in the championship, and she's a competitor. I have nothing with her whole John Cena, can't see me move. Now, when she does it, she's walking off, going towards her bench during a timeout. And she's just, hey, it was quick or whatever. And she's, it is what it is. But to your point, D, right? She has trash talk on the court. Tell one person, hey, you down by 15, shut up, right? Or someone to make a big deal of her brushing off the defense to play the perimeter in the South Carolina game, which is not a problem. I mean, we saw Greg Popovich do that to LeBron in the finals. Why is he going to devote resources to a jump shooter who can't shoot jumpers, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
We saw Draymond Green. Draymond Green just did that to Westbrook, exactly. When he was still on the Lakers.
When he was on the Lakers, he was like, just let him sit, right? And Draymond gets it done to him. Nobody guards Draymond out there at the three-point line, right? So it's called strategy. But at the end of the day, someone to make a big deal to feel that what Reese did was over the top. It was exaggerated. She's following around the court. She then antagonizes her while they're on the free throw line, and just going on and on and on. But you got to understand that, to me, is not just only towards Caitlin and, of course, having the rights to brag because you have clearly won the championship game, right? So, like you say, whoever wins can brag. But the truth is, it was propelled by a lot of stuff. And she said it in her post-game interview. all year long. She's judged. She's this, she's that, and she don't conform in this box of what people want. Like you were talking about, D, in your soliloquy about how she is someone who is, she speaks for herself. She's unapologetically herself, and so this stemmed from a lot of stuff, right? And so, again, both women, competitive women. I don't think Reese didn't make a big deal of it at all. She said she didn't even notice it. You know what I'm saying? She's more upset that they lost and not so much about Reese's taunting, because the truth is, I'm sure Caitlyn would have done something. I'm sorry. Right. Clark was saying that I feel Clark is not upset over what Reese did to her. She's probably more upset that she lost the game, which she rightfully should be. But I'm sure if Clark had won, she would have definitely been in, not maybe to that degree, right, to what Reese did to her. But trust me, there would have been some form of shade thrown. And that's okay. I mean, and you're right, D. There is there is this dichotomy between men and women's sports. And men can be just as competitive and show that emotion, be animated, and get away with it. But unlike women, they can't do that. And so, that's just my take on that.
I mean, Joe Burrow did the same celebration when they won the national championship, when he pointed at his ring finger. Who else?
Yeah, say it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Donald, Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, right,
yeah,
from
Aaron
the
Donald.
Rams.
That's right.
Same thing. So,
same thing. Yep.
If it's an acceptable behavior, we can't pick and choose. Sometimes society will pick and choose when, equality and fairness can be given, right? So, but if you have in the back of your mind a certain perception of how someone should conduct themselves, we still have to remember these are young adults, right?
Right.
And they're emotional, they're happy. This is, and especially if you had things that you had to overcome to actually win and accomplish this. I just didn't find a issue with it.
Right.
I think that some of the people that went out of their way to attack or create a difference in the two types of celebration,
right,
you just don't have the right to tell someone how much they can celebrate, right?
Correct. I agree.
Because truth be told, if Clark wanted to stop them, win the game, and then you guaranteed there would be no pointing at the ring, there would be no face, there wouldn't be any of that stuff, because you would completely shut them down, or you'd be the one celebrating. So I think it was blown out of proportion. I think ultimately, shouts out to LSU. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah, congratulations.
I think this is going to create I'm sure, based on looking at the games that I've watched from Caitlin Clark, I'm sure that she is going to look to revenge this loss. And so that's smug. She's going to be extra smug next year. I'm sure she's somewhere shooting in the gym right now as we speak.
Probably is.
And you just got to eat that. That's part of it. I mean, that's part of it. Everyone can't be a winner, and we've created this society where we give participation awards and thanks for showing up, and we want to celebrate you just for showing up. No, this is something's on the line. You have to win, or there is a winner and there is a loser. Doesn't mean that you didn't give your best, but if your best is not enough, it's not enough. I think the refs got involved with it a little bit, but the technical foul, throwing the ball, that is a technical foul.
That was a technical foul, yeah.
You can't show up the refs no matter what. You can't delay the game by, she got the things that she got. Now, people are, harping on LSU's coach because she was on the floor and she should have gotten a technical. Maybe that is.
Yeah, she probably should have,
She probably should have to get, ultimately, the refs to get complete order back in the game, because it got chippy towards the end. But at the end of the day, they lost by 17 points. It wasn't a super close game. I mean, you had 3 LSU players score 20 points, and that wasn't even their quote unquote star player who won, most outstanding player. So, I mean, it was a. They usually hit 5 3-pointers. I think they hit 11.
Yeah.
So when you're shooting 75% from the three in the first half,
It's crazy.
it just
Crazy.
wasn't your day. The better team
No,
won,
the
and,
better
and
team won.
the people just have to accept that. That's it in a nutshell.
No, you're right, D. And I'll just say this last point real quick. That's what it all boils down to. What is greater than a championship? Winning the championship, having a ring. The only thing that's greater than that is you have now the ability and the license to talk junk into perpetuity. That's, you know what I mean? That's the whole reason why athletes play. I mean,
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for the record, Angel Reese played Caitlin Clark, I think 3 other times, because she's a transfer. What's so remarkable about it is that's 9 new players to LSU, right?
Yeah.
She was in Maryland initially.
Yeah,
she played Caitlin 3 times. She was 3-0 against Caitlin. So she's already handled Caitlin before.
Yeah. Okay.
She's already beat her, and now to beat her on this stage was even bigger. But back to what you were saying.
Well, that's a great point. And so with that fact, right? I didn't even know that history between them and her success over her on the court. So back in Maryland. So the truth is, she has the right to talk, and that's what athletes want, right? Going into perpetuity, it doesn't matter. Michael Jordan. The reason why I can sit back and do a 6-part documentary, right? Because what is Jordan getting out of that? The fact that he can gloat, that he could sit back and be able to tell all these guys, I ruined you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. And you want that as an athlete, because before there was NILs or deals or advertisement or any endorsements or large paychecks, it all started right in the playground. And the main thing you wanted to do when you was a kid and you played on the playground is you want to be able to brag to your man how you beat him on the court. And that's all that matters, right? Unfortunately, you get fights and stuff break out because why, right? Because nobody wants to hear your mouth. So that's the worst part, to hear a winner's mouth after the game, and you don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, that's what sports is centered around as far as the competitive nature of it. And listen, Reese has that, and I don't think Caitlin has a problem with it, because now Caitlin's going to be definitely inspired and motivated to come back next year, and all eyes are going to be watching Iowa come next year. If anything, they would love a rematch of this game here. Is Reese a senior? I don't know. Is she a senior or no?
I think she's a junior. She's a junior, but I don't know. She might be eligible. I don't know. What might hurt it is if Reese is eligible to go to the WNBA.
But in WNBA, I mean, in college women's basketball, what I did learn is you can't leave before 4 years. You got to do full 4.
They have a shot, because we know definitely Clark is going to be back next year. Definitely.
Yeah, she's coming back. Yeah.
She's definitely going to be back next year, and so that would be exciting. Even if they play some way, somehow, even in the regular season, that would be. It's going to be must see TV.
It will be must see TV. Everybody's going to watch that game, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh, dog.
And it has overshadowed the men's really finals,
big time,
and
right?
And Final Four, because I think it's not as exciting. I think it is. It's one of those things where I just think that matchup, the way she was playing at such a high level, that was has taken all the attention. I mean, dropping, 40-point triple-double, to follow it with another 40 and then 30. There was someone that posted on Twitter, and they posted her final numbers and Angel Reese's number. And so I had to respond and say, it was pretty much, she had 30, Angel Reese had 15, something like that. But there's only one person that has a ring at the end of the day. Regardless of all of that, I guarantee you that Caitlin Clark would have traded the 30 points or the 15-point difference for the ring. So,
absolutely,
it is what it is. But let's talk about the 6 seed. No, they're not in the 6 seed yet. You wanted me to say 6 seed Lakers.
Not yet.
Let's talk about the Lakers. Anthony Davis, man. This guy's playing.
but we shouldn't be surprised by that, though.
No, we should be. We should be.
Why should we?
We should be, because I mean,
we?
if do we need to pull up a clip from another show where you were saying that you were surprised and you didn't think that you really didn't have much faith in him. You said that the Lakers may need to move on from him.
Why? Only because of injury, but not his play.
Injury and what?
But his injury. That's it. Not his play.
Can he play if he's injured?
Right, but what I'm saying is, you're saying Anthony, right. You opened up this block right here by saying how good Anthony Davis is playing, right? And I'm saying, why should we be surprised by Davis's play?
It's the knock on him is not. He's dropping 38 with consistency. That is, you expect him to drop 38 every game?
But D.
Oh my god, yo, listen.
Anthony Davis is. Do you want to look at his stats? I mean, should we be looking at his stats for his career even? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Are you
now all of a sudden you're championing Anthony Davis? Like, yo, I knew he could do it. Like, yo, this is all.
But he has that
you
ability
have always
to play that way.
Ability, I get it.
He has.
But if you're injured and inconsistent,
right. But we're not talking about his injuries. We're talking about his play. In other words, what I'm saying is that we're not surprised that when AD is healthy, this is what he does. That's why we get angry and so upset and disappointed when he's not healthy. Because when he's not healthy,
no, that's not the reason. That's not the reason. That's not the reason.
What other reason? So what knock do we have on Anthony Davis other than his injuries?
Other than injury, him consistently playing at this level. Aggression is in question more often than not. Is it not? Okay. Or because y'all won a few games, all's forgiven. I can't believe.
No, it's not that. But D. Okay, right. Yes, AD is not an aggressive player, and people would like to see him more aggressive. But putting up numbers and consistently, like, the man isn't like you're acting like the man doesn't ball out almost every night he plays. Like, all superstars, he's a superstar. Superstars ball out every night almost, right? That's why they're superstars. You know what I'm saying? Now, you
are changing your tune. You're changing your tune, and you know what? I'm gonna find several shows and several segments where you ran Anthony Davis into the ground. It was never, the man could. It wasn't because of that.
It wasn't because he couldn't. He wasn't playing. Did you ever hear me say it any time since we've had our show that Anthony Davis is not a good player? He's inconsistent. He doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't step up when he needs. I mean, the only thing I recall ever saying,
yes to all of them.
That he no, it's not. He sometimes does not hit his free throws in crucial moments.
You said that recently, most recently. I'm glad that you at least
and that was a bad
acknowledge that.
And that game against Dallas, right? And then, of course, the bad rotation, the bad foul. Okay, those are moments. But what I'm saying is that AD is going to bring it like every superstar every night.
So the time that he will drop 17 and 9, those you don't.
That's conditional though. That's because other things are going on. Other players may have stepped up. Okay, he wasn't really needed. It depends on the matchups, what was going on. You know, they may not have that need to.
Those 17 and 9s were not always in victories. Those 17 and 9s were in losses. And we're talking times where LeBron was not there. Where you are the man, where the ball should be in your hands all the time. But he was double teamed
a lot too in those games.
He's a superstar. So what superstar?
Okay, so what's he supposed to do? Jump over two players and shoot over two? Like, that wouldn't be common sense basketball, right? You got to trust your teammates.
No, I get it. I get it. You have to trust your teammates. Okay, no problem. You love them. I get it.
I've always loved AD. He just got to stay healthy. And I said it in the last show. I said he's finally getting the mentality.
Yeah, but he just came off a 38-point game, so of course you were still high on that. I'm talking about 6 shows ago. I'm talking about 7 shows ago
when I talked about his injuries.
But you didn't talk about.
What did I say?
You never talked about him underachieving on the court.
No. I never say anything about him underachieving on the court.
I promise.
Because I know when he's healthy,
Brooklyn Beards and Ball will have the clips of the show. Our next show, they will just be posted. I'm just going to post them. And yeah, I can't do it now, but I'm going to pull up the
Pull him
clips
up.
where you are running Anthony Davis in the ground,
I ran him in the ground. Yeah.
other than his injuries. Other than injuries, I'm going to pull up times where you
Injuries
said
and
he's
I did say
inconsistent.
at times lack of aggression, yes, but not his play. Like there's a difference between the two. It's like LeBron. LeBron is not as aggressive as Michael or Kobe, right? As
We're
they
not talking
were.
about that, but I'm
No,
talking about.
but the point I'm trying to
Okay.
make is that there were games where LeBron could have been a little bit more aggressive, but we know night in and night out, LeBron brought it. And it's the same thing with AD. AD is a bona fide superstar that plays on a high level
Every night.
just about every night. Just about every night. When he's there, he's gonna play every night. Like AD is not gonna have AD is not in a slump. He's not gonna make superstars don't get in slumps. Stars get in slumps, good players get in slumps, but not a superstar or a great player. They don't just get into a 10-game funk. All of a sudden now they forgot how to play basketball.
Okay.
They might have a bad game, but they're not gonna play bad through a whole freaking stretch of games.
What's his average? What's his point average?
He's averaging 20. Oh, his career?
No.
What?
This year?
This year?
This year. Career. Trying to pull up some New Orleans Anthony Davis. No.
No. Okay. All right. Let's look at here. Anthony Davis. All right. Let's pull him up. He's averaging 20. He's averaging. Wait. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Regular season. He's averaging 26. And that's in 52 games. 26.6, which you round off to 27 points. He's averaging in 12 rebounds. So he's 27 and 12. That sounds like a guy who doesn't play consistently well.
So he's a top 15 scorer. That's good.
Exactly. You sound like you're saying that as if to say, oh, well, okay, yeah, maybe, yeah, all right.
You're the one. I've had more faith in Anthony Davis than you have. I said he's going to get a max deal.
About injuries.
I said he's going to get a max deal. I said if he plays hard, whether he plays to the level, because remember we had a discussion about the whole max deal. Will he get that money again? And you said
I said he wasn't going to get a max deal
because you were based off of injuries. But
that was it.
Not solely on injuries.
Reason would it be?
I don't think it was It wasn't solely on.
So
injuries.
What other? So what? So you
just
remember anything else I said?
His inconsistent play.
What else? Not AD. How is he? I never said AD was inconsistently playing basketball or not playing or inconsistently playing in terms of his play. No, I never said that. The man is a baller every night almost. That you can't average.
Why are you saying almost?
Because every player might have a game or two, but not a slump, not like a stretch of games where they're just like in a bad funk, like he's not playing well. Like that's not the case with AD. He's a superstar. You can't average 27 and 12 in only 52 games, which means he could have been averaging more had he not been hurt. There's no one that stops Anthony. There's not a man in the NBA today that could stop AD from scoring. Nobody. That's including Embiid, including Jokic, including Giannis. They will not stop AD. AD can score on anybody because he's just that good. He just can't stay healthy. And that's the only thing I ever said. Okay. I've been very consistent with my take on AD. He's not going to get, I feel, a max contract because they can't trust his health. No one's going to pay him all this money to play 50 games a year. You know what I'm saying? Now with this new league rule change, maybe that'll change him. With this new mentality, I think he's starting to get to understand how important it is for him to stay healthy. But I never said he doesn't play consistently well.
Okay, maybe I misheard you. My bad. Listen, blame it on my head, not my heart. What do they always say?
Yeah, right.
But I'm going to actively look for
aggressively, diligently. The film. He's a reward of those that diligently seek AD stats. Or Rodney's comments on the show. Yes.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The Warriors look bad, right? They look bad.
They look bad.
Not at home. They look bad on the road. And because they're on the 6th seed, that doesn't bode well. Now, I did hear Andrew Wiggins is supposed to be coming back.
He's coming back, yeah.
And so he's been off for 2 months. So I don't know what that is going to do. By the time if they continue to lose and find themselves in the play-in, and whoever they play, they have to go on the road, then Wiggins Wiggins' return will be in vain. But I just don't. Even if they make it through the play-in, I really don't see. You know, I don't think they can beat Denver. I don't think they can beat Memphis. I used to think so, but if you got to win on the road, and clearly they've only won 9 games all season on the road.
Yeah, that's bad.
I think the Lakers have a shot now. I really do. I don't. I still don't have them winning the West.
At what though?
I think they can
avoid.
I think they can avoid the play-in. Honestly,
okay.
The way Dallas has been playing, I just think it's. Let me ask you about Dallas real quick. You think Dallas? What do you think they're going to do at the end of the season with Kyrie? Do you think that Kyrie is going to be a nomad again, looking for suitors? Which I'm sure there will be several suitors, to lock him down. You think that he'll be able to get a long-term deal with Dallas, and they try to, because scoring is not a problem. Him and Luka have proven that they can average 60 or 70 points.
But they're 4-12 together, though.
Well, that's because defensively they're lacking. They don't have decent size, and defensively they're missing. So, do you move forward with Luka and Kyrie as your core players, and then work on getting some two-way, wing defenders and some other stuff to try to shore up your team as a whole? Or do you just blow it up? I mean, look at Luka, wondering, like, what do I do now? But you got a scorer. You got someone that all of that, the weight of carrying a team is not on you. So you can drop, 22 like he did the other night, but Kyrie had 40 and still lose, because defensively, that's the problem, not scoring. What do you say?
Well, here's what I say. Here's where it changes. And I said this maybe about a month or so ago when he first got there. I said you got 2 scorers, but they don't score systemically. There is no system to their offense other than to give 2 scorers the ball and let them do their thing, right? You can't win that way. Even if you got dynamic scorers, you still have to put them within the confines of a system that will allow the players to know, those 2 stars, to know their roles, to know their points, their spots, and the rhythm of the game. They don't have that. Jason Kidd has not established that with those 2 players. That's the same thing Nash was unfortunately not able to accomplish in Brooklyn. He had 2 stars that can score, but never had them in a system. Now, will Kyrie stay? I don't think he will. But what could get him to stay, and could what even get Luka, right? Because you got to think about keeping Luka too. At some point, he's like, "Yo, I'm out." Right? You get a Ime Udoka in there, right? You get a guy who knows how to deal with stars, who knows how to possibly take these guys to another level, put them in a system, get some defense. There was some talk about Draymond possibly coming there in free agency or whatever like that. They get some defense. They were able to get a nice core around these guys and be able to get a system in place. You might be able to keep those guys, but they can't. Kyrie's not going to stay if Kidd is there. Kidd is gone. They definitely going to fire him no matter what happens. He's gone. If you get the right coach in there and they're going to talk to Kyrie, listen, what would you guys do, right? You get him and Luka in the room, or you figure out if they even want to still play together, and maybe they would want to remain together if they get the right coaching. This team just likes coaching and defense. You are able to remedy those 2 things. I think you can keep those guys both in Dallas. But the way it is now, you have no system. That's why they're not successful. Yeah, I see your point. Again, no defense and stuff, but when you're 4-12 with those type of scorers, your offense still should be enough to overcome and get you some victories, even with bad defense to a degree. But the bad defense is a problem. But I still think it's the way they're scoring, how they're scoring, no system, no rhythm to what they do. And that's the problem that you have with that team. And that's why they're not successful together right now. You just got 2 scorers, but no system.
So, Jason Kidd, you think he's gone?
He's gone. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
And
they can't. I listen to the local Dallas news out there pretty much almost every day because of the Cowboys, and they cover obviously the Mavericks, and yeah, they don't. Nah, the fans out in Dallas, they have his head on a guillotine right now. They want him gone.
Really? And so Ime Udoka's name has been kind of.
No, it has not. It has not. But I'm just interjecting that because I think if you get a coach like that who's not afraid to challenge those guys and get them to that next level, like he did with Tatum and Brown, then you might have something there. Yeah, I think you have something. And Kidd is a great defensive-minded coach, but he just doesn't have defensive players. You can't do nothing if you don't have defensive players that can play defense. So it's hard.
So now it'd be crazy if Jason Kidd, there's nothing in place. But I was saying if now Jason Kidd gets fired again,
Right.
and now the next coach just comes and adds a player or two, and then Dallas takes off because Jason Kidd was the coach of the Bucks.
Right. We talked about that. Yeah.
And he was instrumental in the structure of the Bucks. They had success, but then I don't know if teams or players, just turn a deaf ear to him at some point. And
Kidd is hard. He's hard. He's kind of like Thibodeau with the Knicks. He's a hard coach. And he comes from that old school mentality. And he was also an assistant coach with the Lakers when we won in 2020 as well.
We don't want to know about that.
I just thought I'd throw that in there. But Kidd is sometimes he doesn't translate well to the players. Kidd is a kind of a guy he could bring a good certain kind of mentality to the culture, but he's what you call a maintenance kind of leader. He's more of a manager, not a leader. Managers are people who know how to they understand how to keep people functioning, efficiency. They keep the wheels going, making sure nothing falls off, nothing falters, nothing gets awry. Good managers will do that. If they've got a system in place that somebody else did put in place, and they understand people's roles, they'll make sure everybody's doing their job. So just think of it like a day-to-day manager at a job. They're going to make sure, right? But then you got that leader who's a visionary, who knows what it takes to get the guys to the next level and to get them into that place of futuristic success and pulling out of them what they need to have. You know what I mean? And that's what the Knicks, that's what the Mavericks need. Kidd is not that type of a coach. He can give you a good foundation, start you off, get guys where they need to be, but he can't take you to that next level. So,
you guys have that in Darvin Ham?
I don't know. Remains to be seen. I don't know. I have to say,
you guys don't. Listen.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm still not sold totally on Ham, but I have to give him his credit. I think he's starting to find the pieces. Remember, I told you I didn't like some of the rotations, and I thought he needed some time to kind of figure out how these new pieces were going to work. And it seems like he's doing that, but I'm still not totally sold on some of the how he closes some of these games, with the rotation and stuff that he has in there. So a lot still needs to be seen with Darvin Ham. I don't know if he's that guy yet. I don't know. I need to see. I need another year, and I'll probably be able to answer.
Will he get another year?
Yeah, of course he will. Oh yeah. Oh, he's done nothing to coach himself out of a job. He's definitely, I definitely would keep him there. Oh yeah, no, he's earned that right to be there next year.
I know how you like to give hand stuff to people, and they don't have to get any better just based on what they used to do. But let's talk about. Oh man, I know exactly. Lastly, let's talk about Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
He comes back after injury. And what does he do? He drops a very efficient 35 points.
Yeah.
I
looks
think
like in his picture, like, why won't Charles just leave me alone?
Maybe that's what he's saying. I think the Suns, I think they have a really good team. I think they're gonna play down the stretch. The Lakers still have to play the Suns, and I think that's going to be a good measuring stick for them to see how good indeed they really are. A team that they would potentially have to face in the Western Conference Finals. I think that's going to be important. So we'll see what happens. But it was good to see him back in, kind of his Brooklyn Nets form, where he was just a seamless game. What do you say?
I say this. I actually like the Suns. I think they will. I got Milwaukee winning the finals. I think Phoenix will come out of the West. And the Lakers, Like I was telling you the other day, I think they can get to the Western Conference Final. I think they can get there, but I don't think they would be Phoenix. Phoenix is the only team. I'm not afraid of Memphis. I'm not afraid of Denver or anyone else, but Phoenix I'm afraid of only because of Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant and Booker, that's way too much firepower for anybody to stop. If Durant is healthy, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat them in the West. I do think Milwaukee will prevail, though, but I don't when they get to the finals. But yeah, Phoenix is clearly the best team in the West, no question.
That's what
So seeding is nothing.
Somebody said Golden State Warriors was going back.
I did say that. I did.
What's going on?
Here's the difference between me and you, D. Let me explain the difference between me and you, D. I, unlike yourself, I can
change like the weather.
No. I can admit when I'm wrong. You talked about Golden State and their woes on the road, and I, even though Wiggins is coming back, now listen, I still think Golden State is a good team. They're gonna make some noise in their rounds, and first round. I don't know if they will get out of the first round. If they have to play a team like Phoenix or somebody like that, I don't know. I just don't think they have enough on the road. Now Wiggins could change that, but we don't know what kind of form he's going to be in. And
he hasn't played in 2 months. He hasn't
played in 2 months. I mean, so he's going to be on some minute restrictions and go through all of that stuff before he gets into basketball shape again. Yada yada
and
yada.
Where's his emotions? That's the other thing.
That's the other thing, right?
I mean, you have to be in it mentally. He might still be. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So
I think
I was wrong about Golden State. No, you're right. I did. I was picking them. I really was. I still think they're pedigree and a championship team, and they can somehow allow themselves to get in there, get into the playoffs, and then once they get into the playoffs, boom, the championship pedigree, championship mindset
switch.
kicks in.
The light switch, they'll just
the light switch. The Lakers did. We used to do it all the time. Yeah, we used to do it all the time.
Why are we talking about? Okay, so I'll say this. First, I do admit when I'm wrong. I just did recently. I said that I was surprised. I thought LeBron wasn't coming back. I started the show, one of the shows that I was completely wrong about it.
Yes, I recall that.
So,
yes, I did.
I do admit when I'm wrong. And,
you do.
It's probably hard for you to remember because it's so far and few between, but I do. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I agree. That one I do remember, maybe because it just happened more recently. Now I need to check the archives and go through the shows and see where you did not or held fast to your position on something, even though you were
I think we
unequivocally wrong.
I think we had a show about I don't know, maybe close to a month ago, and we all picked our finals. I think this was a show with either we might have had DeMarvelous on the show, or we might have had Floyd, and we talked about our finals picks. And I think I did pick the Suns, and then I think that was
was that before KD got there?
That was. No, he had gotten there.
Oh, okay.
I think, but it was before the slip. It was before he injured himself.
On the layup line, right?
Yeah, right. So we'll see what happens.
Well, you still could be right. I mean, he's back now, and
I did like, and I do like. Ultimately, I like Denver also. That was my earlier in the season pick. I like Denver, but I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't know if Jokic is just kind of coasting and saying, hey, because they're dropping games. They beat the Warriors. The Nuggets beat the Warriors without Joker. And I'm like, yo,
I was happy. Of course, I was excited about that.
Of course you were. Of course.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
And so that's bad. That's bad. It's on the road, but without their best player. Right. But, they have other players that can step up and score. And
absolutely.
Porter Jr. looked good. 29 points he drops. Of course, you got Murray looking good. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
KCP too is a good piece that they picked up too.
Where did they pick him up from?
He came from Washington actually. Because you thought you would.
No. Okay, no. But he could have been on the Lakers. He could have.
Well, we should have kept him. Him and Caruso, I definitely would have kept. Even Kuzma, because Kuzma played good defense too. But KCP, definitely.
Who wanted all of them to go?
What do you mean? Who wanted all of them to go? The
LeBron
salary
wanted
cap
them.
wanted them to go, and they wanted to get paid. I mean, that's what they wanted. They wanted to get paid. We couldn't pay them. You know, that's all it was. You know, and then of course they wanted to bring Westbrook in. You know, right? So that too.
Okay, so
You know,
now we
so,
get around to the truth.
yeah.
That was the reason. It wasn't really because I don't think those two players were going to make what Westbrook made combined, if we're honest.
You're right.
Both of them together wasn't making no 44 or $45 million.
So, no, you're right. You're right. No, ultimately, you're right. That's the answer. Yeah, the answer is they wanted to bring LeBron.
It's, you see how he will try to come up with, he went to Washington and he wanted to see the
no, because you wanted
the monument.
Where did he come from? You know,
monument.
You forgot he played in Washington. He was in Washington.
Cool.
Yeah.
But how did he get there? He was in a Laker uniform.
He was traded.
All right.
He was traded.
Yeah, because they didn't want him.
For Westbrook. Yeah. They wanted Westbrook. They wanted to get a third scorer. Listen, it was D.
See, that's what you call a setup. I knew he was in Washington, but I wanted you to come to yourself and be honest.
So can we close by saying this then? Both Brooklyn and the Lakers had failed projects, right?
Oh yeah. For sure.
Is that fair to say?
It's very fair. Very fair.
All right. Okay.
Very fair.
Yeah, we failed with Westbrook, and you failed with Kyrie and the KD experiment. So both experiments.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah. Okay.
I think out of the two teams.
What two teams?
The Lakers and Brooklyn.
Lakers and Brooklyn. Okay.
Lakers and Brooklyn.
Okay.
I think our future looks brighter, though. I'm be honest. I think our future looks brighter. Because you don't have faith in Anthony Davis, right? Because you think he's injury prone, right? And no team is going. So how do you feel? How do you feel comfortable that they're going to go deep into the playoffs? I mean, you think?
Oh, you mean the future in terms of this year, or you mean the future going forward? Oh, this year, I like our chances way before. Y'all not beating anybody in the East. Y'all pumping grind first round, bro.
I know. I get it. I understand that. That's what you're saying. I'm not talking about a future. We're talking after this season. We're talking.
After this season. Okay,
our overall will look bright. I think.
I don't know. I mean, it could go either way. I mean, AD. Listen, if AD still gives you 60 games, okay, then right? You figure, and that's when you get a third scorer in there. We'll probably have to retool our roster again come into next season. We'll look and see how it looks with D'Lo and a lot of these other core pieces. Definitely, I'm sure we'll try to keep with Vanderbilt, and I'm sure we'll try to keep Beasley.
Listen, how does Austin Reeves get a shoe deal? I'm wondering about this.
Reeves is balling. I like Reeves. I just sometimes he just makes me angry though with his I think he could be a little selfish because there was a play the other night and it's a 3-on-1 fast break and he takes it to the cup where you got two guys on the wing. He should have easily given it up for a layup. Instead, he tries to just do something acrobatic and ends up.
Got a shoe deal.
Well, he got a shoe deal. Well, he's playing good. I mean,
you got to expect him to now get his.
Right. Oh no, I don't mind that, but he's not. But he's not your third scorer, though. He's not.
No,
he's not your.
He's not. But he is. If he's smart, I mean, he's already said that it's a business, and so he's not being snowed. Or has any rose-colored glasses on playing with the Lakers. He understands that it's a business, and he's going to make the best business decision for himself, if that means to leave the Lakers or not. And now that he has a shoe deal, he has to live up to that. I mean, he can't just be, although on the Lakers he's a third, or let's say fourth option, if you will. He's going to have to actually elevate that because it's about sales, it's about merchandising, it's about everything outside the floor. He's a businessman.
Oh no,
so he has to, hold himself.
Nobody's upset by that though. Nobody's upset by that because he's probably also thinking in his mind, look, I could end up becoming a package deal if LeBron wants to bring somebody else in, right?
Exactly.
And so he's like, look, I got to get mine while I can, and I'm gonna do what I got to do. And I don't blame him.
They may ship him out for Carmelo Anthony. Who knows? Whoever LeBron wants to bring in, he bring anybody in. Like he might just bring, all the banana boat dudes, all his buddies from the summer trips. So I'm gonna give you a shot now. Right. Exactly. I'm gonna give you a shot now. So we'll see what happens, man. Yeah. But I'll say this: and we can wrap it up. I think the playoffs is going to be very, very exciting. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
And I think that teams.
Now wait.
I think I like Milwaukee in the East. And once again, I will say this. I will say this and say this again.
Mm-hmm.
I am not concerned with Philly. I think if any team can upset a team in the first round, that would be a surprise. It would be Philly. And let me tell you, I hope Embiid gets the MVP. I'm telling you, if he gets the MVP, I feel really good about what Brooklyn's going to do.
So, do you think you're going to beat Philly in 7 games, the best of 7? You're going to beat them 4 times?
We're gonna beat them in 6. I think we can beat them in 6.
All right. Okay.
We have a shot. We have a shot of beating them in 6.
What episode number is this? We got to talk to our producer and see. I don't know if we numbered our episodes. We need to make. Yeah, we need. Matter of fact, you know what? I think I'm gonna. Well,
you can go to any episode. I've been saying all season that I'm not worried about Philly. Yes. Now we did have KD and Kyrie at the time, but it has dropped off tremendously. My confidence level went from about 100% beating Philly to now I'm about. I think we have a 40% shot to beat them, and 40% is very high.
So you think you're gonna beat 40%? So you give your team a 40% chance of winning
the series? Yes,
winning the series.
Yeah, and that's high considering we have no superstar, and they have arguably the MVP of the league.
So D, you think?
Laugh, man, laugh.
I'm just.
It's cool. Yo, laugh. Listen. When your team was in 11th place, you didn't have all this air in your lungs. Now your team has worked its way up.
No,
other teams are falling off.
No, I'm still cautious with my Lakers though, man. Because I still don't like. I still think we turn the ball over a bit, and I still don't like the way we end the games and sometimes things of that nature. I mean, there's a lot of idiosyncrasies that I'm seeing with the Lakers that I'm still not comfortable with that they got to fix up. And again, I'm just being realistic with my team. But D, do you think you're going to beat Philly?
I said we have a 40% chance.
40% chance. But then that's not confidence. That's not.
Of course it is.
What's 40%? 40% is not.
I think that's a good number. Is it higher than what you give them?
No, I give Brooklyn about a 20% chance of winning that.
Okay,
series.
so then that's high. 40% against a team that has probably the MVP this year and a previous league MVP and is the 3 seed and arguably one of the best teams in the East. Projected. They have a higher projection to make it to the finals or come out of the East. I think 40% is rather high. And I think that's cool. It's a realistic number. I wouldn't be overwhelmed and over the moon surprised if we beat them, but I am realistic that on paper and given the players, player for player, they have a better team. But I think chemistry wise and inconsistency of Harden, I think that Embiid can have issues, and I think his brass ring ultimately is to win the MVP. I've said this before. If he wins the MVP, I think for him it'll be he'll exhale, and I think
that's going to make him get relaxed, and he's not going to play with any fervor in the first round of the playoffs.
He will not be as hungry. Put it like this: he won't be as.
Winning an MVP is going to quell his hunger for a championship. If anything, it would motivate him even more.
Nah.
So.
Not necessarily. I don't think because Embiid played hard last year, right? And he didn't win the MVP, right? Joker won. And he was, what else do I need to do? He seems so deflated, more deflated that he didn't win the MVP than him not winning the championship. So I think when somebody is putting all their eggs in a basket to win a particular individual award, I think that will be his, crowning achievement, and it may give us an opportunity to slip in and beat him.
So you're predicating your 40% on.
No. It's 40% regardless. But if he wins the MVP, it may increase the 40%.
I can't believe I'm actually hearing you say this. I
Okay.
really, I can't believe. D. So if your theory or philosophy holds true, right? He didn't win the MVP last year. They lost, right, in their playoff run last year. Okay. He was already deflated, didn't win MVP, didn't give a whole lot maybe into the playoffs last year. Now, if he wins the MVP, then that should motivate him, right? If it's the inverse of what was last year, you lose MVP, you don't win. Now you win the MVP.
No, he balled out because the MVP is an individual award. He balled out and he then got the MVP. If he gets it. So I don't see where, you're bringing a correlation to last year and this year.
Because you're saying that he's not, if he wins the MVP, he's going to just let his guards down and not really care how he plays in the
I didn't
playoffs.
say how he plays, but I think that would be
for all intent and purposes, you're saying that he's not going to have
the hunger will be satiated to a degree. He'll be satiated. He'll feel full off of his. I think he'll be full a little bit. He won't the trophy. Him digesting the fact that he won the MVP, that might trigger the irritable bowel syndrome that I speak of, and I think that may cause that him being proud and excited about winning that. It can happen. They don't have a deeper team than us. They don't.
No, your team
I think we have their starting five is better than ours, but deepness of a team, defense. I think we have a really good defensive team. I mean, Embiid is a really great defender. Don't get me wrong, but I think ultimately it's a matter of who has to be out there. How long do they have to be out there? I think if they're to beat us, they need to beat us in quick order. They would have to beat us rather quickly. I mean, blow us out and the game be over. If you let us linger around and we get hot from three, I think we have a shot. I mean, 40%. It's not like I said we have a 75% chance to win. I don't know why you're so flabbergasted by the fact that I said 40%.
Because I mean, you're picking. I mean, 40. Well, actually, 40% is obviously clearly is less than half. So 40% to me doesn't bode a lot of confidence. I mean, if you feel that your team can beat Philly 4 games, then I would think that it would be a little bit higher. I mean, because
you're
basing 40% on what that Embiid doesn't win an MVP, that he gets irritable bowel syndrome. Like you got a lot of these other wild conditions in there.
Let me ask you a question. What is your percentage or your chances of the Lakers beating the Suns?
I feel we have a
please don't base it off of what I said.
No, I feel we have like a 60 to 70% chance.
Yo, thank you for joining us. You 60 or 70% chance to beat the Suns? You just said the Suns were coming out of the West.
Yeah, but I still think we can.
No, you're doing this to try to be different from me. That's I give them a 97% chance. No,
I'll tell you what. Honestly,
people can see through this.
I would give us a 55% chance to win.
Oh, okay.
55.
Now 55.
At least a 55% chance.
Unbelievable. No, listen, he cannot be trusted.
He
cannot be trusted.
I was only messing with
you. He is the father of lies. He cannot be trusted.
He said the father of lies. No. I agree that the Phoenix Suns, I think that's the team the Lakers don't want to see. That's the only team I think we can't beat in the Western Conference. But I would give my team about a 55% chance to win. I would.
Against the Suns.
Against the Suns, I would. And I think that's more than half, right? But not, drastically higher than half, but it's just over half.
You don't think this the team, but listen to yourself. We got to go, but listen to yourself. You're saying the only team that I don't want to face, I give myself the lion's share or a higher percentage to beat them. So you must think every other team you have to be over 55%.
Easily. I think you give the Lakers an 80% chance against Denver, 80% chance against Memphis. We can beat those teams. I just think the only reason why I'm a little concerned with Phoenix is because the scorers that they have between Booker and KD. And
Paul George comes back and
it's hard.
let's say Paul George comes back and he is, 80%. You give yourself 80% over the Clippers too?
We could beat the Clippers. We'll beat the Clippers. We'll beat the Clippers.
80%?
Yeah, 80%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I think we could beat the Clippers.
Oh, I can't
80%.
wait. I can't wait for these
Yeah,
playoffs.
we could beat the Clippers. Yeah, I think Clippers.
Because watch, I know as soon as this happens, it's gonna people pop, pickle pepper, people pop. You're gonna have all kind of stories because I'm gonna hold you to the fire with this 80%.
Let me tell you something. Your prediction is wildly outlandish.
40%.
The Brooklyn Nets are going to beat.
They have a chance.
You think they have a chance to beat?
They have a 40% chance.
40%
that means 60% that they'll lose, but they have a 40%. That is better than, they have no shot. Of course they have a shot. Because
everybody has a shot to win.
No. But everybody, no.
Well, I'm not. I mean, we've seen it happen before. We've seen number one seeds get bumped.
They're not a number one seed. They're not a number one seed. I think that we have a good shot. But listen, time will tell. I think 40%. You said every other team that the Lakers would face, you have an 80% chance of winning, except the Suns, where you give the Lakers still a 55% chance to win. Yeah. This show will be, I guarantee, show will be referenced moving forward.
It will be. Matter of fact, we're gonna play these clips when the series are over that we're in, and at the end of those series, we're gonna play these clips. We're gonna do a 20-second snip. And we're going to play it in the live feed so people can hear what Donald is saying about his Knicks. Excuse me.
See what I'm saying? You don't want them to hear what you got to say?
Of course.
Or you trying to make it just about me?
But I think mine's is a little more.
We're in this together.
I feel we're in this together, right? So, well, listen, if we go to the conference finals and lose to Phoenix, then hey, what I said came to pass. I was right.
Came to pass.
We would lose to Phoenix in the conference finals.
You give yourself 55% chance.
Right, but if we lose, then but 55% chance is
that a majority or no? I'm wondering.
That's the majority, yeah.
Okay, so you give yourself better than half. Better than
give them a 40% chance.
No. It's 55. We got 55. Oh. It's 55.
I think
it's cool.
I think 5%. I think, but I gave them more than half. So cool. 55, 45, right? Is that how that works?
That's it. Yeah, beautiful.
Right,
that's it. Okay. Beautiful. Listen, shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music.
IA.
Shout outs to Kingdom Creative for the production.
Indeed, KC.
Chef's kiss to the production. Once again, like, share, subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube page. This is going to be one great playoff. We're going to have,
yes, it is.
It's going to be interesting. Game by game, we're going to discuss it and didactically break down each game. Didactically, that's something that he would use. Didactically break down each game. But please, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Rod, it was a pleasure. Until next time. Peace.